Hello everybody, it's another beautiful day here in Germany and we are in the city of Quedlinburg. Now for many of you, Quedlinburg might not be seen as a city, it'll be seen as a town. And Quedlinburg is in the region of the Harz. And you see this building behind me, right there. That building, I don't know what architecture you will call that. I call it the wood beam architecture, right? And this town or city has the most concentrated architecture of this type in the whole world. So it's quite historically significant. And what's interesting about Quedlinburg is that it's a very old city. This city is 1,000 years old. And the first German Kaiser Ottoman, really liked this city. And he made this city the capital of Germany at one stage. So let's go explore the city. It's got many beautiful boutiques. So it is quite a cosmopolitan city. Have many fine jewelry shops here. Hello. So typically in most cities in the world you still find it, but in your typical medieval village, what you'd have is you'd have people that would own the building. The top floors would be used for accommodation and residence, and then the bottom floors would be used for shops and restaurants. Hello. And that is typically how your Middle Ages village looked like. And so you can still see the same concept being followed today. Here's another fine example of that architecture right there. Beautiful wood beams. And some of these buildings are very tall. And some buildings are a little bit newer than the others. Now walking past all these restaurants is making me really hungry. There's a small little river running here in the village. Got some Swiss Army knives here for sale. There's the church. This is the village square. So this is like the CBD of Quedlinburg, you can so to say. And it's a Thursday late morning in winter, a very mild winter, so you can see that it's not such a big city with a hustle and a bustle. And this is actually one of my favorite cities in Germany because it's old, it's got a lot of history, it's got very beautiful architecture, it's clean, it's not too culturally diverse. So it's not like Berlin or Frankfurt or Hamburg where you just find all sorts of cultures and races. You know, you still find the original Germany. This is the old Ratshaus. So this is the old government building. That's the emblem of Quedlinburg, which is the castle, the symbol of the castle. This statue, yeah, this is a mystical figure called Uncle Roland, and he is supposed to bring luck and prosperity to. He's supposed to bring luck and prosperity to the merchants of the city. So you will find Uncle Roland all over Germany. And if you are a merchant and Uncle Roland is looking over you, you should be okay. Look at that. See that building there is so old, it's starting to slant towards us, which is typical of these types of old houses, because the wood gets old. And so renovating these old houses can be quite costly, because finding these wooden beams in this day and age is very expensive, and it's not really good for the environment, you know, considering that steel and cement doesn't really require that trees need to be killed. But to find these thick wooden beams, it means very old trees and very big trees have to be cut down. Okay, we are here outside of the church in Quedlinburg. This is an old fountain. We are now going to go in this church. See, it's a very old church. Very old stairs. There's an organ. Seats are very interestingly arranged. So each family will have its own cubicle. And there's the top of the altar. Hello. Lots of history here in Germany. Yeah, this is quite an interesting coat of arms here. I don't know if this is some form of family tree or possibly a lineage of the priests of the specific church. And this floor is definitely old because it's very basic. It's free to enter here, but they would prefer to have a donation. not allowed to go up those stairs because it's been blocked. Oh, and then there are more private cubicles up here. Running all around. Very interesting. So it's almost like a type of theatre design up here, where people have their own private VIP cubicles, and at the bottom each family will also have its own cubicle. You can see we are in a courtyard here at a random building, and you can see some more architecture here, but this is quite run down. You can see the wood starting to split and warp, and all over this town you just find your classic cobblestones. There's an alley going that way, and we are going this way. So this place is covered with souvenirs and antique shops. So if you're looking to buy some things for some friends, you won't have a difficult time. You can buy some stuffed badges. There's a window to someone's basement. Here's a hotel. Yeah, they're busy with some renovations at the hotel. So you see, building after building, you have this classic medieval architecture. And what they like to do with these buildings is they like to carve. They like to carve the family names of whoever lived in the house. So there's a family name, another family name, and sometimes they even add the years. So Anno 1661 means after Christ, 1661. So that's probably when this building was built, this particular one. Some obviously older, some are newer. This one, yeah, and 1663. And you're allowed to make photographs here as long as it doesn't have a flash. Here are some information boards. And as you can see, they are busy with some renovations here as well. Look at the detail. This is made from wood. Different coats of arms. So this is not a Catholic church. This is a Protestant church. Because as I said in the other videos, in a Catholic church, the priest reads from the Bible at the altar. But in a Protestant church, at least in Germany, the priest reads from the podium. So, there's the organ. No church is complete without an organ. Plenty of seating space. Absolutely beautiful. Made from wood. It's all made from wood. Here we have a nice fish restaurant. You can eat prawns and crab and lobster. Very delicious here in Quedlinburg. Here's a hostel or a hotel if you're looking for some cheap accommodation here in Quedlinburg. I think you can, if you really take your time, you can spend a few days here in Quedlinburg. I don't like to be that tourist that only stays in a city or a town for one day or just a few hours, because you cannot see everything in one day. It doesn't do the attraction justice. Like sometimes people buy Contiki tours and they travel Europe and then they go to Paris for 2 days and then they go to Berlin for a day, and that's just not really my style. 1593. This building's not that old compared to the rest. Oh, we've got a Union Jack there in the window. Yeah, I like this town. I wouldn't mind living in this town. You know, perhaps maybe when I retire. Because finding good work that pays very well in this town could not be that easy. There's another interesting thing. My uncle took me here once and he said Quedlinburg has the most cheesecake recipes in the world. The most cheesecake recipes in the world. Over 400 recipes of cheesecake. But he said that's sort of like an exaggeration because a lot of the recipes are just slightly modified. So there's also, he spoke about a house where the street goes all around. I don't know if it's this little area here or if it's a smaller house more up. But you can see this whole street surrounds this building here, but there's a smaller one somewhere else. Here we have a nice cafe. Yeah, in the summer you'll find these types of restaurants. They will be packed. They will most certainly be packed. Here we have the castle of Quedlinburg, which is undergoing renovations. Now, what was interesting is that Heinrich Himmler, he loved this castle a lot. Besides from Wewelsburg, which was the SS cult capital, Heinrich Himmler loved Quedlinburg and he loved the Quedlinburg castle. And he said, Quedlinburg, especially the castle, is the pinnacle of German architecture and what German culture and the people should be like. And he basically said that many castles should be modeled on this type of castle, and that many houses should be modeled on this types of houses, which is, I suppose it's his opinion. I'm not trying to defend what he did in war, that's just completely politics, but from his opinion, this place has great significance, considering it was also the capital at one stage of Germany, this town, Quedlinburg. Well, this entrance here is blocked, so we're going to take a walk around the castle. But there's a beautiful statue of Mother Mary under the courtyards. And we're going to have this beautiful street here on the side with the wood beam architecture. There's some hard-working Germans.
Okay, but I don't have space, so I will.
Ну, давайте одну фото сделаем.
Yeah, we've got a slightly newer building here. I know 17, 18. Right there. With the family names of whoever lived in that building. So someone put the EU flag on here with a cheap stick. Huh. I don't think that meets EU standards. So we must call Brussels up. We should make a Jexit. You know, which is similar to Brexit. We'll have a Jexit. Germany leaving the EU. And if Italy leaves the EU, we call it a itchit. Okay, this looks like an entrance to Quedlinburg Castle, so let's go up here. Beautiful gardens, nothing too special, very basic, just some grass, some shrubs, but in all honesty, you don't really need that much more in a garden. It's important to have the vegetation here so that it doesn't create like a mudslide. So remember, like I said before, with all the videos as their castles, essentially only have a certain budget for maintenance. Wow, look at that view of Quedlinburg. It is absolutely beautiful. There's a church in the background, which is strange because we didn't go to that church yet. And we have that little church over there, one where we went in earlier on. And then behind that you have another bigger church. So many churches. Alright, let's go in the castle. First we got more stairs. So this is definitely a schloss, not a borg. Here we have a beautiful courtyard here. See, this fountain's not operating at the moment. Beautiful town. Similar to Stolberg, but Stolberg is a town. And Quedlinburg is technically classified as a city. So both places have the same architecture, but Stolborg is a town and Quedlinburg is a city, so I guess if a person retires, size doesn't really matter anymore, because it's going to take you 3 hours to walk a kilometer anyway with your cane and what have you. I wonder how old this rock here is. This looks pretty old. Okay, this has been weathered at the top in time. You can sit and relax here. It's free to come up this side, so you can sit here on the benches and watch the sunrise or the sunset. Now this castle looks like a castle that has many secret doors and passages. I mean, just look at that. When I see doors like that, I just want to go in. I can't help myself, but that one is most definitely locked. And you're not even allowed to go there by the looks of things. You have to first get through that gate. So yeah, this is that was a beautiful church. Yeah, so like I said before, this castle was very, very favorite castle, a very popular castle with Heinrich Himmler. So, I mean, look how old that looks. That just looks fantastic. And Quedlinburg is actually a city that wasn't hit by World War II. So no bombs here, no soldiers, no fighting, or nothing too serious that I know of. So it's nice to see that all this architecture is preserved. I mean, we look there, there's another type of building there. It looks absolutely fantastic. There's another church there. There at the back. And I can spend days just looking for churches and castles. Here's one of the towers of this castle, because it's a double tower. So there's one that's similar on this side. There we go. Got it there. And then look at the steep wall going down here like that. Look at that. Wow. Just supporting this whole embankment and this castle. And look, there's another door down there. So this just shows you the scale of this place. So this castle is unique because it's like, it's a village that's been fortified. And that's how a lot of castles and borgs actually started out. It was a village, and then they built a wall around it, and then in time they build another wall around that as the village gets bigger. So we are in the castle, but you still find streets and restaurants and so on. So this is obviously a church. These two towers are the church, and this is the church of the actual castle. So that's what it's all about. Now this is the original entrance up into the castle. But we are not allowed to go here because they're busy with renovations. So I want to just show you guys this. So if you want to siege the castle, this is the main entrance, the way you'll come up. And you can see, just like Scharsvelds, this castle is built on rock. But this rock looks a lot more stable. But if you look closely, it's not the strongest rock either. It just collapses. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Just touch it and it becomes sand. So building on rocks, you have to be very, very careful how you do it and what type of rock you choose. Thick wooden door. Oh, it doesn't have a murder hole. That's sad. But it's got a nice, beautiful emblem. This is a WC. Is it open? Oh, look at that, it is open. WC means Wasserklo. We have another mysterious door leading to who knows where. Some spooky dungeon. Some hidden Nazi treasure. Maybe even something older and more mysterious. I'm just joking. More innovations.